What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to CKC Garage, and it's spring 2022. We've got the peak Power Wheel riding season coming, so we've got all kinds of people wanting builds, all kinds of sales going on as far as getting rid of this inventory. So this video today is going to be about the Peg Perego Polaris Slingshot. In my opinion, this thing is going to become a unicorn because sadly, they stopped producing this in the United States. I don't know why. It's epic. I've sold tons of these, and I think it is the most scale realistic, detailed ride-on probably ever made. I mean, it's got just the right look. For instance, I just listed this guy right here on Facebook Marketplace, 800 bucks just to sell it local, and non-stop messages. That's $22,000. What's the deal? No, this is a 12-volt kids ride-on, guys, and nobody could believe it. They all thought this was a real deal Polaris, like for adults. So I'm going to go through and just show you guys what I do to these to really put it over the top and what I love about it. So this is basically a slingshot overview. So what I do is I take and I put lights in them. We'll just do the one. So I try to do different things on every single one. So on this one, it's got the angel eyes, and then it's got some ambers in the mirror. I call that like the daytime running. And then in the back, there's nothing on yet. But if you turn on the other switch, bam, it's got the brake lights and it's got the amber runnings. And then it turns into the blue actinic driving lights. But they're super bright. I thought about just doing those on its own circuit, but I was like, ah. So that's the lighting kit. And on it, it has just enough room for 2 rockers. And normally if I just do one circuit like a headlight taillight, I would use the stock like push button switch there. Like I said, it's 12 volt. It comes with a 12 amp hour battery. And here is the cool thing. This one I just literally took out of the box. So look at all this room you would have up here if you wanted to do like a proper speed controller, like variable speed. You have all that room right there because your feet are down here. Massive amounts of room up in there. That'd be up in that footwell area. And then under the seat, you've got, that's the stock battery location. And if you pop that battery out, this thing really runs good on a lead acid battery of 18 volts. So you take a 12 and a 6 in series, fits perfectly right there. And then to run your lighting, I would put the stock battery over here. It would fit right over there. And then it's kind of cool. Maybe Peg Perego had an idea. This is a tray right here where they would put like a circuit board for like what they do on the big 24 volt units. You guys could actually do a harness swap. Maybe that'd be a good video, huh? Putting in a 24 volt system in this guy with a big, I don't think you could put the 24 volt gearbox motors in there. So you'd have to run it on 24 volts, which is rated for 7 miles an hour because it's a different gear ratio. You just gave me an idea. So it's got unique wheels on it. They don't alter, or they don't swap with any other model out there. They're close to the John Deere Gator, which that's one over there. But the front tire is a little bit bigger and the rear tires are a little bit smaller, and it has a unique mounting hub adapter. So that's it. This is definitely rated for bigger kids. I think it says, I can't remember what the instructions say. I'd have to look at it. I'll put the information in. I know it's a 130-pound load. And the steering is just a little bit stiff. It's a little bit harder. So like if you were like a teeny tiny little 3-year-old, you might have some trouble steering this guy. So that's basically it. You can see why I love it. The negatives now. Well, the biggest one is they don't make it anymore. But look at this table. This is how many parts you have. So when I go online and I like look for parts, I saw some reviews, so I clicked on them. The biggest problem people are saying is there's so many parts. Yeah, there is. But it's because it's got so much detail and realism. I mean, these are all like lenses and mirrors and like headrests and shot covers. It's just all kinds of bits and pieces that make these things look really cool. Does it make sense? All right. So that being said, I'm going to put the camera on a tripod and I'm going to build this guy right here. And I'm going to go over the key things that I do to really make these a CKC garage build. You know, the headlights, easy. You drill a hole, you put the eagle eye, you know, a nut in the back. But the mirrors, that's a little different story. How do you run wire through the mirror? And then for the rear tail lights, this is, I dread this. I literally dread it because you actually have to remove this part right here. And it's really difficult. You have to pop this up so you can put the LEDs underneath here and hide everything. Because if you guys look, I try to keep everything really clean. Like, you can't see wires. It's all hidden. You know, these right here, flush mount. So this is the lights that we're going to be using. These amber running lights, 2 osmium eagle eyes, 2 rocker switches, and 2 LED strips. I think those were a foot long. You end up having to cut some off. And I'll put links to the description on Amazon where I get all this stuff basically. I use Amazon because I can get it like the next day. And a whole bunch of little crimp connectors. And this one I'm going to try these little 2.5 inch angel eyes. I'm going to put those in the front, and then obviously we need a whole bunch of LED wire. I think this is 20 gauge. Like I said, I'll put the links in the description. If you guys buy it from those links, it helps me out a little bit. Get a teeny tiny little cut of the pie from Amazon. But that being said, let's get this guy put together. Okay, so the first step on our assembly table here, we're going to go ahead and cut open the package and get all of our stuff laid out. We got to dig out the manual here and just get everything off of this packet. So it's a two-piece steering wheel. You got to line up things and squish them together. We'll do all this stuff at the end. You know, certain little things, you got to take off some of the molding tabs. Oh, and then if you can see that over here, we got the battery charging on our smart charger. One of the best things you can probably do is a Schumacher charge and ride. Highly recommend that upgrade. Charges it faster, smart charges it so that it doesn't damage it from overcharging. Can't say enough about it. Okay. Headrests. So the mirrors, I think that's one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to prep the mirrors for the wiring. So you have to, you know, get some cutters out and cut off all that little tabs. We're almost down to the manual. Okay, so here's your manual. It's got a whole bunch of stuff, you know, warranty, battery information, which doesn't matter because I guarantee you probably won't find one of these brand new. If you do, you're one lucky soul. And then some stuff that isn't in the manual, like this little spacer, where the heck does that go? Well, that actually goes inside the steering wheel there. It's kind of like a spacer. It keeps the cap centered. Now you know, because there's the cap and it just kind of rides around that. Okay, something I recommend. The last step that I do is hubcaps, because if you mess something up and you have to take wheels off, these are a pain in the butt. So I put hubcaps on very last. It's got the 4 lenses here for the lights and the ring for the steering wheel. And last little bunch here. Got the stock charger. Basically, it's a transformer charger. It will damage the battery. I believe it keeps charging when it's done. So in this little tray right here, this is for the center lights that go in the grill right here. We're going to see if our LEDs fit in here. It's going to be close. I think we'll be able to use those. So we're going to hot glue gun those into place. I think they're going to fit just right. Well, that'll be one of the steps we show you guys. You know, the rear license plate holder, usually I don't even install those, but if you would make a custom plate, it'd be kind of cool on there. And then these are the front bezels for the lights, and that'll be another step. You got to be able to drill a hole in here and put your lights. All right, and now the part that everybody complains about online. All of these little bits and parts. Before we do any of that, we're just going to go ahead and get all of our lights prepped. Okay, so here's what the finished mirror looks like. You guys saw me drill the hole through and just soldered it together. And then we will mount this into the hood and we'll drill a hole right in the side where you won't even see that wire. So, side markers done. So for the headlights, you're going to have to actually install the headlight bezel. I kind of twist it a little bit. It's an oblong hole. It's not the easiest piece to get in, that's for sure. So once that clicks in, you're going to locate the center of your headlight hole. And drill your 1/2-inch hole through there. Then you feed your osmium through. Put your nut on the back. Tighten her down. And this, of course, is after you've tested all your LEDs. Trust me. You're going to want to test them all before you install them. Go to turn on the switch and you got a dead light. Ask me how I know. We'll go ahead and test it one more time here. Make sure we didn't damage anything. Bam! So after you've got it installed, you're going to have to drill a hole and feed it up and into the center here. Alright, so after you've got the headlights installed, you're going to need to drill your 2 holes to get your headlights into the center area. Okay, they're just long enough to connect together. And then we're going to put a red butt connector on there. And depending on if you're going to do headlights on a separate switch, you would run this Y up to your switch. But we're just going to do them all on one. I think we're just going to do one switch where all the lights come on together. Alright, so we got everything prepped on the front end of the car. So we got the headlights in, wired through, all ready to go up to the switch. We're going to have 2 switches up here. We've already pre-drilled the holes for the wiring to go through. The angel eyes, these guys right here, we got that all pre-drilled, ready to go. You can see what they look like. Basically, the wiring just comes through. Use butt connectors there, and that's all ready to go up. And we've got we decided on some underglows, so we put 2 LED strips inside and 2 on the outside. We got those all wired up. So this is the controller, and it's got a little infrared that'll have to go through, and that's needs to be seen by the remote control. So and from the out of the box, it comes with a cigarette lighter type thing that's the on and off. Well, we just cut that off, and it's going to be wired in right to the back of the rocker switch. And mirrors, you guys already saw that. We got the mirrors all done. The dashboard, we got it pre-drilled for the 2 rockers, one on each side of that little storage cubby. And the 12-inch LED strips, we got those all set, cut. So what we need to do to make it look like this right here, we've got to get this rear body off, and it is a pain in the butt. So we are going to take it and we're going to put it on the table, flip it over, and get that off. Cross the fingers we don't break anything. Usually we're pretty good. We take a heat gun on the tabs. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So it's a pain in the butt getting these right here out. Hopefully it's focusing. But those are a pain in the butt, and then it'll pop right off so that we can put our strips in here and drill it, the hole, so that the wire comes out underneath, nice clean hidden install. And then the ambers, those are simple, just 3/4 inch hole. So all right, let's get this rear body panel off. Okay, so here's a pro tip for you guys. When you're taking off the rear body panel, don't forget to take off the 2 screws on each side. So basically there's screws that hold the side in, and you need a really long extension to get down in there and take out the screws.
And then this one wasn't too bad. We've gotten pretty good at it after doing about a dozen of them. So once you get one of the little barbed connectors loose, heat up the rest of them, and as you go it makes it more pliable so you can just pop them off. So yeah, there's our pro tip. Don't forget those 4 screws or you're gonna have some broken body. All right, next step. So this is basically what you're going for, guys, is an LED strip underneath. We go as far in as we can and we drill a teeny tiny little hole, just enough for the wire to fit through, and you slowly put the adhesive strip down, because it does have a little bit of an arc, so you can kind of contour that so that it just, we like making it look professional. Oh, and then this particular shipment actually had red shrink wrap, so we got rid of that and we put black shrink wrap on. And we also take a Sharpie and just color the black or the red positive wire black so you can't see it. So from here you really can't even tell where the wire enters through the body. Next step, putting it all back together, and then we're gonna bond these together and run a wire through the bottom up to the switch. So when you do wiring, people get overwhelmed. It's 2 steps. Get power from the battery to the switch, get power from the switch to your luminaire. It's pretty basic. Next step. Alright, so here's what the rear end looks like. We got the LED strips in, the amber running lights, and we just wired it all up to 1 circuit. And for the best connection, we solder. So if you guys don't have a helping hand, that really helps hold the wire so that you can put a good solder once you wet it, we call it, or flux it, or tin it, whatever you want to call it. We use this Milwaukee cordless. It is awesome. It does drain the batteries down pretty quick, but we got the heat shrink on there. We're going to heat shrink that and then run the wire. It goes into the seat compartment, and then it goes down, and then it comes out into the belly here. If you would have ran it right through here, it would have gotten in the way of your rear module. Once you bolt this up, ask me how I know. I've put the lighting in there before and then it was hitting on the wiring. So run it through the belly and then up high here, and then we'll run some duct tape, black duct tape, Gorilla Tape over all this, and you won't even see it. And then while we got it upside down, we'll put the license plate holder on and start wiring up switches next. Alright, so we got the rear lighting going on, all done, put back together. Switches, we ran 1 on each side, that little compartment there. Obviously we ran power from the battery. All we did actually was take this 18 gauge wire and we soldered right to the connectors on top of the battery. That way you can unplug it and swap out the battery. So yeah, basically this came to life. We decided to put some underglows in here. So one switch is for headlights, taillights, and then the other switch is for underglows and these cool angel eyes that we found. So yeah, this is where the build starts coming together. All that's left is cleaning up the wiring underneath there, put it in some zip ties, put wheels, tires on it, windshield, decals. But that's it, guys. That is how you wire up a custom LED lighting system on a Power Wheels. This one, it took a lot of hours to run all the wire and hide all that stuff. But yeah, this is our favorite part. This is what we love doing, is creating scale realism. All right, guys. Okay, let's talk about the underglow kit. Found this on Amazon. They call it an automobile atmosphere lamp. So when you install the kit, it's got 3M adhesive. Make sure you use the heat gun, heat that glue up, because otherwise it's just gonna fall right off. This is kind of like a porous material and it sucks to stick to. So heat that good up. It's got a remote control, and it does have a sensor that you have to leave visible. So instead of putting the body screw in there, we just drilled it out and we put the infrared little sensor right there. And of course you got to have it on, but that's you got to have this pointing at it. But it looks pretty slick. Yeah, underglow kit. All right, guys, here it is, all put together, all nice and shiny. Turned out pretty sweet. Pretty clean build. Might be one of the last brand new Peg Perego slingshots in the world. I have no idea how long it's been since they've produced these things, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this lighting video. Give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. We got a few more Power Wheels builds we're gonna start doing. Maybe a crazy one, like a Fireball Camaro. I've been dying to build something crazy, so stay tuned for that, guys.